Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our first Wildfire Insurance Town Hall. I'm Andrew Stolfi, the Oregon State Insurance Commissioner. First and foremost, I want you to know that our hearts go out to each and every one of you who have been affected by these tragic wildfires. You are in our thoughts, and we are here to answer your questions and help you through this extremely difficult time. I also want to thank all of those who are battling these fires, those who helped get others to safety, those who are working so many hours right now to get people the resources they need, and those who are already starting to help our families, friends, neighbors, and communities rebuild. We appreciate each and every one of you for your service. For this virtual town hall meeting, I've invited a few of our insurance experts at the Division of Financial Regulation to join me and help answer your questions. I'm joined by Tricia Goldsmith, who's our Outreach and Advocacy Manager. She's been with us for 5 years and has over 30 years of experience in the insurance sector. Brian Fordham used to manage our Outreach and Advocacy section and is now leading the unit that reviews and approves homeowner and auto policies, among other things. Brian's been with the agency for 7 years and has more than 20 years of experience in the insurance sector. Now, before diving into your questions, and thank you to everyone who sent some in advance, I'd like to invite Anna Pace to join us. Anna is one of our insurance advocates. She has some information to share about all of the resources that are currently available for Oregonians. Anna?
Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. As you can see, our town hall today is live and in English. However, we will be captioning this video in both English and Spanish for those who have difficulty hearing, as well as many of those who are not native English speakers. In addition to this town hall, we have several resources available in your language. Our advocacy team has dedicated people who can help speak with your phone, but to you by phone or email in Spanish, and we have translation services available to help you in the language that you choose. Finally, we have wildfire insurance information on our website in both English and Spanish, and our Get Help page has information for you in English, Spanish, Russian, Simplified Chinese, and Vietnamese. For this, please visit dfr.oregon.gov to learn more. We are here to help with your insurance questions and concerns, so please reach out to us and let us know so that we are able to help you in your language. Gracias, Andrew. Hola a todos. Como puedes ver, la Junta de Ayuntamiento de hoy es en vivo y en inglés. Aún así, nosotros estaremos grabando este video en inglés y en español para aquellos que tienen dificultad para oír, así como también para aquellas personas cuyos primer idioma no es en inglés. Además de esta Junta de Ayuntamiento, tenemos varios recursos disponibles en su lenguaje. Nuestro equipo de abogacía tiene personal que se compromete para hablar con usted por teléfono o correo electrónico en español. Nosotros contamos con servicios de traducción disponibles en el lenguaje que usted escoja. Finalmente, tenemos información en cuanto a los seguros de incendios forestales en nuestro sitio de internet en inglés y en español. Nuestra página de Encuentre Ayuda tiene información en inglés, ruso, chino simplificado y vietnamita. Visite dfr.oregon.gov para aprender más. Nosotros estamos listos para ayudarlos con sus preguntas y preocupaciones, así que por favor contáctenos para recibir ayuda en su idioma. Thank you. Gracias. Andrew, back to you. Le regreso el micrófono.
Thank you, Anna, for sharing those great resources. So leading up to today's meeting, we solicited questions from you. And again, thank you for all the questions that were sent in advance. We're also going to be monitoring our online forum and all of our social channels for your questions. We'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can over the next 30 minutes. Our goal today is to provide you with some important information that you can use right now to take some initial steps towards recovery. So let's start at the beginning. The good news is that in Oregon, typical insurance policies like homeowners, renters, and business policies cover fire, smoke, and ash damage. It makes no difference that your home was damaged by a wildfire. Wildfire damage is covered under your policy, just like a kitchen or an electrical fire. You hear us say today a lot that communication and documentation is very important throughout the insurance claims process. Be sure to talk to your insurance company or agent about your specific coverage and learn about their claim handling procedures. It's also important to document things that will help you facilitate your claim. A good example of the importance of communication and documentation is for people who've had to evacuate. It's important to make sure that your insurance company knows if the police or fire department has ordered you to evacuate from a nearby fire. Many insurance policies will help cover some of the extra costs you incur while you're away from home. This is typically called additional living expenses, or ALE. It helps cover some of the costs of things like lodging, food, pet boarding, and other essential needs while you're unable to live in your home. To get the most out of this coverage, it's important to document your expenses by saving your receipts and talking to your insurance company about how they will handle reimbursing you for these costs. Another important fact to keep in mind right now is that recovery takes time. This wildfire season has been extreme, and insurance companies are doing their best to serve their customers. We will make sure of that. We also understand that this is a stressful time, but please be patient through this process. It will take time to settle your claim and rebuild. Crews will need time to make wildfire damaged areas safe to return to. Insurance adjusters will need time to investigate every damaged home and business, and construction crews will need time to work on bids and estimates before actual construction begins. Your property might even need to get inspected for contaminants like asbestos or lead before the cleanup can begin. Do what you can to help this process, and understand that people are working diligently to help so many victims across the western U.S. recover from these disastrous fires. To help provide some peace of mind and structure for people who have been displaced right now, our department recently issued an emergency order. The order requires insurance companies to extend deadlines for reporting claims, establish a grace period to pay insurance premiums, and suspend policy cancellations and non-renewals for those in wildfire-affected areas. The order applies to zip codes in the state that were in a Level 3 or Level 2 evacuation. The list of zip codes can be found with several other resources on our wildfire insurance page. So please visit dfr.oregon.gov and press the red wildfire button to get to these resources. The last thing I want to stress before we dive into more of your questions is that we are here for you. If you have issues or concerns after speaking with your insurance company or agent, our consumer advocates are here to help. Please call us toll-free at 888-877-4894 or email dfr.insurancehelp@oregon.gov. That contact information is also available on our website, dfr.oregon.gov. Now let's get to your questions. Brian, Tricia, we've got a lot of great questions from folks today. We'll start with the first one here. So there still are people who unfortunately have not been able to return home, or who are only able to do so quickly. So we've had several questions come in about what options folks have if they cannot verify any damage to their home. For example, they're still in evacuation level 3, and the insurance company may not be extending their hotel stay. Tricia, what kind of advice can you offer?
Thank you, Andrew. My advice, the first thing you're going to want to do is to contact your insurance company. Advise them of your situation and let them know you're not able to return home and the specific reason why. It's very possible that your insurance company might have already been able to determine if there was damage to your home. The next item you'll want to discuss either with your agent or your insurance company is ALE, or additional living expense. You'll want to know any applicable limitations. Oftentimes there will be a limitation for time and or a money amount. And this is going to be a different amount for an evacuation due to civil authority, and then once it's been able to be determined that there was damage to your home due to a covered peril. So you'll want to make sure and understand that coverage with your agent or insurance company. If it's been determined that you have maxed your limited coverage with additional living expense, as Andrew noted, documentation is going to be very important during this process. You'll want to contact FEMA and the Red Cross if this is the case. You'll want to, oftentimes they will be required that you provide some type of documentation. It can be as simple as a declarations page and receipts, and to be able to show that you have maxed the limited amount that's covered under your insurance policy. So if you run into any problems during that process, like Andrew said, we have an amazing team of advocates that are here and ready to help answer your questions. Again, the number to reach us at is 888-877-4894. You can email us at dfr.insurancehelp@oregon.gov. And you can also visit us online at dfr.oregon.gov. Go ahead and on that main homepage, there's going to be the red wildfire button. Once you click on that, you'll have a lot of great information. And again, if it gets to the point that you need to file a complaint after speaking with us, you can get a complaint form. You can file that directly online. And again, if you need to, you can call our advocates and we can always mail you a form also.
Thanks, Tricia. So let's stick with you for a moment here. We've got two questions that came in from someone. I'll pose to you. The first, there's a lot of great people, a lot of great businesses helping out and doing the right thing, but where can people turn if they feel like they've been charged an excessive price for a good or a service like gas or lodging? And the second part of that question we got is around whether homeowners are able to use whatever companies they choose for repairs or remediation, or if they're required to only use recommended companies.
Yeah. So if you experience price gouging, you should definitely contact the Oregon Department of Justice, and you can reach them toll-free at 877-877-9392, or visit oregonconsumer.gov. And they're going to have great tips for avoiding scams like wildfire charity scams. Also, again, the same website that we gave for the division, dfr.oregon.gov, clicking that red wildfire button. If you scroll down, there's going to be additional resources, and under there, there's going to be a blue Avoid Scams button. If you click on that, there's going to be a lot of great information available to you. It's going to be important that people are watching out for debris and debris removal and contractor scams. So one of the ways to protect yourself is to always work with a licensed contractor. So one way that you can do that is to check a license of the contractor. You can go through the Oregon Construction Contractors Board, and you can go to ccb.oregon.gov. And Andrew, to answer the second part of your question, in regards to choosing your contractor, you always have the right to choose who you would like to use. One thing I would suggest is contacting your insurance company or working with the adjuster that has been assigned to you and see if there are any additional benefits. Sometimes there's an additional warranty or something that might be beneficial for you if you do work with a preferred contractor. So just make sure and talk to your adjuster, your insurance company, and know your options prior to making a decision.
Thanks, Tricia. Great points there. And we've got a little bit I can add to that, but first I was asked to remind people to please mute your phones. If you've joined us, here we're getting a little bit of feedback, so if you could please mute your phones if you're on the line. And just want to add to that within our agency, we not only have the Division of Financial Regulation, but also the Building Codes Division, which is responsible for quite a few things. They house a manufactured home ownership document system. This is a free and easy to use system for folks to get ownership documents for manufactured homes. They're also putting together fact sheets for people about when you do or may not need a building permit for doing your repair work. So please go to their website. It's bcd.oregon.gov to get more information and access those resources. So let's move on to another question, and you mentioned this a little bit, Tricia, but we've received a lot of questions about cleanup and debris removal and about the costs of that. So let's start with this. Brian, if you could talk about how debris removal might be covered under an insurance policy, and how and whether there's help that state or counties might be providing, and when folks can start cleaning up their debris.
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. So first and foremost, I want to make sure everybody understands that cost will vary on debris removal. One of the things, Andrew, you talked about in your introduction was the potential presence of asbestos or lead or other possible hazardous materials. And so because of this, debris removal can be very expensive. Debris removal is typically covered by your insurance policy. However, it will potentially take away from the total amount that the insurance company could pay, because the limit on the policy is the maximum amount the insurance will pay. So the remaining dollars left after paying for debris removal may be reduced. It's important to note that FEMA, the Oregon Department of Transportation, the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, the Office of Emergency Management, and the affected counties are working together on a solution to mitigate costs for debris removal right now. What we're doing right now is recommending to Oregonians to be patient and to use caution. Should you decide to remove the debris yourself, it will be important that you follow guidance about this removal that's issued by the DEQ.
Thanks, Brian. So let's move on to another question that came in advance. What can I do to make sure my insurance company pays enough to both rebuild my home and replace my personal belongings? And related to that, if my home is a total loss, should I expect to receive maximum policy limits? Brian, what can you share?
Sure. So first off, you have the right to see the full settlement evaluation and any estimates that the insurance company used in putting it together. Take your time. You do not need to be rushed. You should be able to use this time to look at resources that we have listed on our Wildfire webpage so that you can build and construct a home inventory and walk through the claim process. To refresh your memory about what to include on your home inventory, you might consider looking at photos or videos that you have stored on your cell phone. Your insurance company will pay the cost for repair or replacement of the item, but the coverage limits are the maximum amounts that companies will pay. Communicate with your insurance company if the settlement figures don't add up. And again, if you have any questions or problems with this, please feel free to contact our advocates.
Thanks, Brian. Well, kind of a related question, a follow-up we've got, in figuring out what the value of the damaged property is, some people might hear about adjusters, and there's public adjusters and company adjusters. Can you talk about what the difference is between those two, and if people need to hire their own adjuster or attorney to help them through the process?
Sure. So the two types of adjusters, as you stated, are company adjusters and public adjusters. And as you would imagine, a company adjuster is one who works for your insurance company and is hired by them. Public adjusters, on the other hand, are hired by the individual, and they will take a proportion a percentage of the insurance settlement for their work. So the two different adjusters, one works for your insurance company, the other one is hired by you and can take a percentage of the insurance settlement for your work. If there are any questions about any of the process, I recommend speaking to your insurance company first. What you'll find is that many insurance companies will want to work with you through this claims process. Again, if something doesn't add up, or if you have any concerns about the insurance company, contact our advocates for help.
Thanks, Brian. So mentioned in the intro, there's an emergency order that the agency issued. Brian, can you talk a bit about what that order means for those people who've been affected by the wildfires and how long that order is going to remain in effect?
Sure. So the order has three key components. The first is to extend grace periods for premium payments, to postpone policy cancellations and non-renewals, and to extend deadlines for reporting claims to people affected by the wildfires. So, of course, it will be very important for you to make sure that your insurance company knows if you have been affected by the fire. We issued this order to give people peace of mind and to make sure that they can access the resources that they need. By law, we can only issue the order for 30-day periods, though the order will be extended as needed.
Thanks, Brian. So we've had a question come in through the feed. Tricia, I'll ask you to answer this. Why are insurance proceeds paid jointly to owners as well as mortgage lien holders?
Good question. So an insurance company can, most often you'll be issued multiple checks. So if there's a check issued to you that would be for an additional living expense or your personal property, usually those will not have both parties' names on those. Those will be issued directly to you. But when there's a check issued for actual building damage, repair, that will be issued to both you and your lender because they have an interest in the property. So if you have any questions when you're issued a check, I would check with your lender and your insurance company, make sure you understand what that check is being issued for. And again, if it's connected to the actual dwelling that the lender has interest in, it will be common that their name will be included on the check. But again, if it's additional living expense or personal property, that will usually not be the case.
Thanks. We've got another question or two coming in. Please, anyone who's listening, please keep those questions coming in. I'd be glad to answer them. Another question that came in off the feed. We lost about 18 acres of timber to fire. We're a small private landowner, not a timber company. Insurance may cover just a small portion of the loss. What other recourse do we have to recover the income burned up with those trees? I can start and then please jump in. First and foremost, please check with your insurance company and work with them to make sure you get the maximum amount of coverage from your insurance policy. Other than that, I would start by checking with FEMA and your county about what resources they might have available in those situations.
The only thing I might add would be if there was a commercial policy issue, there may be coverage for business interruption insurance for the lost income associated with any income secondary to the peril and the loss from the fire. So, Andrew, your point of contacting your insurance agent, your insurance company is just absolutely important that you do.
Thanks. So we've got, I think, at least one more question here. Tricia, maybe I'll ask you this. How long will it take to rebuild? Question came in, my home was destroyed and I have no idea how long this is supposed to take. What advice can you lend?
Well, first of all, to reiterate what Andrew said at the beginning, that we're just in the early stages of recovery, and recovery is going to take time. It will happen, but it will take time. I would work closely with your insurance company through this process. And building materials, contractors, they're going to be in high demand. So this process is just going to take an extra amount of patience. Again, having open lines of communication and documenting the process along the way is going to be key. If you have any questions, remember that advocates are here. Sometimes it's just a general question or to want to let somebody know where you're at in the process and to see if that sounds right. So we have advocates that you can just call. Again, that number is 888-877-4894, or you can email your questions at dfr.insurancehelp@oregon.gov. And we are continually putting new resources on our wildfire page. So looking back at our website at the dfr.oregon.gov, as we have new questions coming in, we'll often try to keep those updated because oftentimes there are the same types of questions you have, somebody else is having the same. So we're trying to keep those resources up to date on our website. In addition to our advocates, we have an amazing team, an outreach team, and they are on the ground in the affected counties. They're at resource centers. So if you're at one of those, you might just keep an eye open for us. If you have questions, we can help answer those there. So just my last words, I know this is a really difficult time for a lot of people, and just know that we're here to help walk through this with you.
Thanks, Tricia. We've had another question come in off the feed. Can landowners of mobile home parks get the cleanup insurance part of a claim?
That's a good question. I think that it would be dependent, I would imagine it would be dependent on the contract, who the insurance company has the contract with, as well as that insured and what sort of agreement they have with the landowner. So I think the answer would be it depends.
Is that something folks can reach out to us directly on to get some advice?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any questions? If something doesn't sound right, or you just want to see you're being told something, feel free to give us a call and we can walk through that with you.
Great. Another follow-up that's come in is around a virtual claims process. Can either of you talk about, companies' use of virtual claim settlement, drones I've heard being mentioned before, and what people should keep in mind for those types of processes?
Well, I'll go ahead and start, and Brian,
Sure.
if you want to add something. There's a lot of technology out there. So again, as I stated, sometimes insurance companies might be able to have determined if there's damage to your home even before you've been able to come back due to their use of drones. Also, a lot of them have implemented a virtual claims process where you can take pictures or videos and submit that and help expedite the claim process. I would just advise to work closely with your insurance company. Some people really like these features and are comfortable doing that, and that's great. Others are not comfortable with that, and they would just prefer to wait and have an adjuster come out. So there's a lot of options available, but I would just work directly with your insurance company and let them know if you have a preference as to which of those you use.
Very good.
Okay. So we're just about out of time for our half hour today. I'll point out we'll welcome questions coming in across any of our feeds, and we'll do our best to respond to those coming in throughout the day. Also, stress our website and our phone number for folks to call in or email or submit questions or comments to us, and we will, of course, respond to you as quickly as we can. So in closing, Brian, Tricia, thank you so much for your help in answering these questions today and providing all this important information. Thank you to all of you who are watching this and who joined us today as well. As we mentioned earlier, we'll be posting a recording of this town hall with both English and Spanish captions on our website in the coming days. Please remember, it will take time and all of us working together to recover from this disaster, but we will recover. Please make time to take care of yourselves, your families, your friends, and your neighbors. Finally, if you need help from our consumer advocates, please reach out. We're here to help you through the insurance claims process. Thank you again for your time today, and goodbye.